Hey guys, I hope you're having a wonderful day. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to use frequency adverbs. You're probably wondering what a frequency adverb is, right? Well, we use frequency adverbs and expressions of frequency to express how regular we do a specific activity. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to use correctly frequency adverbs and expressions of time in affirmative, negative, and interrogative sentences.
In today's class, we're going to study some of the most common frequency adverbs such as always, usually, often, sometimes, hardly ever, and never. When I say always in a sentence, it means that I do something specifically 100% of the time. And when I say sometimes, for example, it means that I only do something 50% of the time. These percentages are only here to give you an idea of when to use them.
So, where should I place frequency adverbs in a sentence? We use frequency adverbs before the verb. Let's look at this sentence. My children watch TV on Sunday evening. Which one is the main verb? Watch, right? Very good. Now let's add the frequency adverb. My children usually watch TV on Sunday evenings. Very good.
Now let's look at these examples. Brian goes to school on Saturdays. We have to use never. So, Brian never goes to school on Saturdays. Next one. Marge sings in the shower. We're gonna use always. So, Marge always sings in the shower. Next one. Daria takes a shower on Sundays. We're gonna use sometimes. So the sentence is Daria sometimes takes a shower on Sundays.
Okay guys, now let's practice. I'm gonna give you 3 sentences and you're gonna have 30 seconds to answer them with the correct frequency adverb. Let's begin. She walks to school. You have to use usually. He visits his grandparents. Hardly ever. Okay guys, let's look at the answers. Your answers should look like this. She walks to school. She usually walks to school. He visits his grandparents. He hardly ever visits his grandparents. I walk my dog in the park. I often walk my dog in the park. You see?
Now, we use frequency adverbs after the verb to be. Let's look at this example together. Say, British people are very friendly. Okay, where's the verb to be in this sentence? It's are, right? Okay, very good. Now, let's add usually to the sentence based on our rule, which is after the verb to be. So, after are. So now the example is, British people are usually very friendly. You see, it's quite easy. Now, let's look at these exercises. Okay, so we have the bus is late. We're going to use often. So, the bus is often late after to be. Next one. Summers are very hot. We're going to use always. So, summers are always very hot. Next one. Andres is at home on weekdays. We're going to use never. So, Andres is never at home on weekdays. Very easy, right? So, guys, now let's practice. You have 3 sentences here, all of them with to be. So the first one, he is busy, you have to use always. Next one, I am late for work, you have to use never. Winters are really cold in Australia, you have to use hardly ever. So guys, I'm gonna give you 30 seconds to answer those exercises. Okay guys, so let's see. Your answers should look like this. He is busy with always. It's he is always busy. Next one. I am late for work. You had to use never, so I'm never late for work. The next one. Winters are really cold in Australia. You had to use hardly ever. So the sentence is winters are hardly ever really cold in Australia. How was it, guys? I hope you had the right answers.
Now, let's see how to use frequency adverbs in negative sentences. We use frequency adverbs between the auxiliaries don't, doesn't, and the main verb. Let's see this example. My children don't watch TV on Sunday, they usually play sports. Which one is the auxiliary in this sentence? Don't, right? And the main verb is watch, correct? My children don't always watch TV on Sundays, they usually play sports. Now, let's look at frequency adverbs in negative sentences with the verb to be. Here, we only have to write the verb to be in negative form. Let's check this dialogue. Where's Brian? I don't know where he is. He's unusually late for work. You see, here the verb to be is in negative form. That's all you need to know. Let's do these exercises together. The bus isn't late. Here we're going to use often. The bus isn't often late. Next one. Summers aren't very hot. We're gonna use always. Summers aren't always very hot. I'm not at home on weekdays. Here we're gonna use usually. I'm not usually at home on weekdays. Very good. Now, let's continue with more exercises. Here we go. Brian doesn't have class on Saturdays. Always. Brian doesn't always have class on Saturdays. March doesn't sing in the shower. We're gonna use usually in this sentence. March doesn't usually sing in the shower. My kids don't take a bath on Sundays. Often. My kids don't often take a bath on Sundays. Very good. So guys, there are some exceptions that you need to keep in mind when making negative sentences with never and hardly ever. Is it correct to say I don't never eat pizza because I don't like cheese? I'm afraid not. Don't is negative and so is never. So it's unnecessary to say don't. The correct way to say it is I don't eat pizza because I don't like cheese. Or I never eat pizza because I don't like cheese. We have to choose one or the other. The same goes with hardly ever. I don't hardly ever eat pizza because I don't like cheese. Is this sentence correct? I'm afraid not. We have to say I don't eat pizza because I don't like cheese, or I hardly ever eat pizza because I don't like cheese.
Oh, for asking questions. We use how often when we want to know how regularly someone does something. Now, let's look at this dialogue.
So, Brian, how often do you study English?
I hardly ever study English.
Okay, now let's see these sample questions together. So, Brian, how often do you exercise?
I always exercise on weekends.
How often do you brush your teeth?
I usually brush my teeth after every meal.
How often do you tidy your room?
I never tidy my room.
How often do you have English classes?
I have English classes 3 times a week.
And finally, we use expressions of frequency to answer how often questions. These expressions are once a year, every day, twice a week, 4 times a month, among others. And they usually go at the end of a sentence. Let's see some examples. How often does she exercise?
She exercises twice a week.
How often do you brush your teeth?
I brush my teeth 3 times a day.
How often do they drive their car to work?
They drive their car to work every day.
How often does he call his mother?
He calls his mother once a year.
How often do we have English classes?
We have English classes every Saturday.
Okay guys, this is it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed our lesson. If you have further questions, please contact us through email, Twitter, or Facebook. This is Brian Martin and Margarita. See you next time.